Morning everybody, welcome to this valuable Power Retail session powered by e-commerce solution provider ChannelAdvisor. So thanks all for joining us. My name is Grant Arnott, I'm the publisher of Power Retail, and I'll introduce our panelists next to me for today very shortly. So before the introduction, just some quick housekeeping. So mobile phones, turn them to silent. I'm not going to be able to hear them, of course, but I can't ridicule you if it goes off. But that's beside the point because you really want to pay attention today. This is going to be a great session. So the format of today's webinar is something different to what we've done previously. It's a Q&A, and it's focusing on the challenges of the new multi-channel retail landscape. And we have two experienced and accomplished industry experts guiding the discussion today. So first up, I want to introduce Alana Fennessy. Alana's the Head of Client Engagement for ChannelAdvisor APAC. Now, some of you may know Alana already if you get around to the e-commerce events, but if not, please reach out as she pretty much knows everything there is to know about e-commerce.
Thanks, Grant.
I also want to introduce Rachael Eade, Digital Marketing Manager for Bevilles, an accomplished e-commerce practitioner. So welcome Rachael, welcome Alana.
Thank you.
So throughout the discussion today, Alana's going to be leading the Q&A, but we also encourage those watching to put forward your own questions to the panel. So if you're looking at the dialogue box in our GoToWebinar platform, you can enter those questions at any time in the question dialogue box on your dashboard, and we'll do our best to answer as many as we can. And we've got a big session ahead this morning, so get comfortable, and I'm now going to hand over to Alana to kick off the discussion. Away we go.
Thanks, Grant. Thank you very much. So Rachael, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Alana.
How long have you been working at Bevilles?
I've been at Bevilles just over 2 years. I started in January 2 years ago.
Very nice. And you're loving your time there?
I love it.
Very passionate about the products?
I am, yes. I love a jewellery.
So when did Bevilles launch their e-commerce store?
I think it was around 10 years ago. I asked around the office and everybody said it was a very long time ago. I feel like we were a pretty early adopter of e-com. But yeah, around 10 years ago, and we've been on Magento for about 6 years.
Nice. And are you re-platforming onto Magento too, or doing your due diligence?
We're just in discussions on that at the moment. We're looking to change this year. So
exciting. Nothing like a re-platform.
So what could go wrong?
Do you sell internationally on your current site or just domestically?
We don't sell internationally. We don't have any intention of selling internationally from our site, but we are looking to expand marketplaces to New Zealand through the market, which is a new marketplace which is about to launch.
Exciting. So when is that looking at launching?
I believe they're looking around June this year.
Yeah, that's what I've heard as well. It's exciting opportunity led by the warehouse group.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how it goes for us because it's a brand new market for us.
Yeah, definitely. And how has the overall e-commerce landscape changed in the time that you've been at Bevilles or over your time in the industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely been an increase in omnichannel and selling through various different means. When I started at Bevilles, we were just selling through our e-com store and obviously through our retail stores as well. We were also selling on eBay and had been for a number of years, but we've since introduced a number of marketplaces, and we find that probably about 20% of our sales come through marketplaces now, so that's a big difference for us.
Wow, that's a considerable amount.
Yeah.
So the plan is to continue selling on more marketplaces domestically?
Yes, yeah, we recently launched on MyDeal, which was pretty new for us, and like I said, we're looking for the market, so I think we're probably at capacity for marketplaces at the moment, but yeah.
It's exciting.
Has that been incremental extra growth, that 20%, or was it sort of existing customers?
No, I'd say it's incremental.
Yeah, so it's genuine new customers. So it's
especially through places like MyDeal. I think those are different customers that are coming in. And Amazon, different customers. We haven't had a massive growth with Amazon, but yeah, definitely new customers.
Very good.
Do you utilise any of the features like eBay's buy online, pick up in store to drive, those marketplace customers into your physical store?
We don't. We would love to. We don't currently have click and collect or anything like that. We have click and reserve through our website, but it's quite hard because we don't have visibility of what ring sizes we have at stores, so it can be difficult if somebody buys online and then goes in store and they don't have the product straight away. But it's definitely something that we'll look at in the future.
And are rings could you consider looking at offering that for your other products and not rings, or rings one of your major products, one of your fast moving?
It's definitely one of our major products and definitely fast moving, but I think we have discussed with our account manager at ChannelAdvisor around watches, so we might do something like that in stores, because we do sell a lot of watches on eBay.
Yeah, so it's a great initiative run by eBay to really help you convert that marketplace customer to your own customer. Well, you know, they might still continue to shop on eBay, but you still have that opportunity to upsell. It's a really unique initiative to eBay.
Yeah, it's great.
So how do you think the consumer has changed in the last few years, and how do you think they've driven this need for retailers to have an omni-channel and multi-channel approach?
I think that previously customers would just go straight to a retailer's own website or in store, or they might go something like eBay and then compare prices between retailers. But now with all these different marketplaces and different ways of shopping omni-channel, customers are told about sales they might not have been aware of before, and even things like, you know, your click frenzies. They might not necessarily know they even want a particular product, so when they get emails, they might go, oh, that bed sheets are on sale and I'll run out and buy that, whereas before they might have only gone for something that they knew that they wanted previously.
Do you think mobile's had a large impact on that? I know for me personally, I shop on my mobile all the time.
Yeah.
And so I think it's interesting to measure what impact is that having on this need to be, you know, truly omni-channel.
Yeah, I think it's had a massive impact. I know that about 60% of our sales are on mobile now, which personally I find surprising. I don't shop on mobile. I will always go to desktop. I'm a bit old-fashioned like that. But I know that our customers love mobile. Obviously, you know, nothing is particularly new. In the last few years, the customers love to browse on mobile. I know that personally, when I go into physical stores, I'll always jump on my mobile and compare prices, and we know that our customers do that too. So, yeah, there's definitely more customers than ever.
And that's 60% of transactional sales, not just traffic, but...
No, traffic is probably about 65-70% on mobile, yeah, definitely. Which I was actually surprised about that, because I know previously when I was at Priceline, it was probably only about 40% of sales.
Yeah, generally see a significant drop off in conversion on mobile, even though you might have a lot of traffic. Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah. What do you put that down to, do you think, with your site or your product mix?
Well, we've done a lot of work in the last year on conversion on our mobile site. So at the actual checkout, we've been doing A/B testing just in the last month, actually, two different versions. So it'll be interesting if we can get results of that next week, actually. But yeah, we're definitely working with those mobile customers and trying to show, you know, products bigger than ever on a mobile, and making the buttons really prominent. And just changing the way that things look on mobile.
Paying off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Are you utilising social features like shoppable posts on Instagram and any of those new trends?
We have looked at that. We're not really at the moment. We have done a little bit of shoppable links on Instagram, but it's definitely something that we're interested in.
Yeah.
We do a lot of advertising on Facebook and obviously encouraging shopping through Facebook, but still not as much on Instagram.
Yeah. I think the shoppable post on Instagram is going to be interesting to see how that develops and the data behind it. Is it that ROPO effect? Is it just that research online? Purchase in store, or are people actually clicking through and converting?
Yeah.
Are you doing anything to try and measure that research online, purchase in store? Like, are your customer service team in your stores asking, did you look at this online first, or you're not measuring anything on that?
We're not really measuring. We know we get a lot of traffic to our website, so obviously a lot of people adding things to the cart and then going in store to purchase that. So we definitely know that customers research online, especially with something like jewellery, because you're more likely to want to touch and feel and try it on. So we're somewhat unique, but, you know, probably no different from fashion and so forth. There's definitely more of that.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, how do we measure that ROPO effect? The other day I was in a store, and when I went to pay on FPOS, before I could tap, there was a survey question saying, did you look at our site before you came in store? And I was like, wow, what a simple way to try and track some of that data. And then I realised that another store I went to just asked, you know, are you happy with our customer service? So how can you use those kind of features to measure? And how you measure customer satisfaction? So how important do you think it is to have your products present on apps? And would you consider having your own Bevilles application, or do you think it's more important to make sure you're listing on other popular apps?
it's an interesting one. I was just talking about this yesterday with somebody else. I don't know if there's a great need to develop apps for individual brands unless there's some kind of unique feature. Like I know that I use my One app, for instance, because it's got a barcode on it, so I don't have to carry a card around. I can just go in store and they'll scan the barcode. But if you're not offering something that's particularly unique, then just going to a mobile website, there's probably not a great need, but I'm sure there are lots of apps that do amazing, so other people might disagree.
No, it's interesting.
And maybe the transactional component at some level too is a consideration with the native apps where, you know, because you've got your card details or everything maybe baked into the app, it can make those purchases on one touch and a bit smoother. Yeah,
that's true. I know that's why people love shopping on Amazon, because it remembers all that detail and you don't really have to think too much about it. Same with cash.
Speeds up the process.
Yeah, it makes checking out so simple.
Yeah.
I know I'm similar. My shopping experience, I'll often use a branded app simply to get my loyalty card details if I don't have them handy. But then some of those major apps like a marketplace app, I'll shop on. I know in Deloitte's 2017 consumer survey, marketplace apps were the most popular way consumers actually chose to convert. So, you know, reiterating that importance of being present at them from that mobile journey.
Yeah.
So tell us more about Click and Reserve, because I know there's Click and Collect and there's buy online and pick up in store, but what does Click and Reserve mean for Bevilles?
So Click and Reserve is quite big for us. So basically if someone goes to our website and we either don't have the product online or they just want to go into a physical store and either buy it straight away or try it on, they can check which store has the stock and then they can reserve it. So it'll send an email to the person at the store. They'll then go grab the product, put it aside for the customer, email it or call the customer and say, okay, it's ready, come in this day and pick it up. So it's just a bit more personalised service for them.
So they have to pay when they choose to reserve it?
No. So it's not Click and Collect, it's just Click and Reserve. So if they get there and they don't like it, they don't have to buy it.
Wow, that's really cool.
Or they might buy something else.
And so what's the uptake of that feature been?
It's pretty big actually. I don't know the exact percentage, but we do get a lot of traffic to stores through that way and a lot of interest of people. They might not necessarily reserve it, but they're definitely using the feature to check which store has their stock.
Interesting. So it allows you to do that.
Yeah.
And so what do you think do you think you'll want to offer Click and Collect on your actual site as well?
I would love to. I don't think that's going away, and I think people use it all the time. I use it myself. It's definitely a possibility that we've talked about, and I think when we re-platform this year, it's something that we're going to be looking at. Not this year, but probably next year. I'd say that's something we might bring in for something like watches.
Yeah. Even if you can, start with a few select stores and then roll it out slowly. Yeah. I understand the impact's considerable when you think about trading with staff and kind of picking and packing orders from store.
Yeah, that's right. I think our business is somewhat different as well in that jewelry is such a detailed transaction that you really want that personalised service. So when we don't have a lot of staff on a particular day, they might be spending a lot of time with one customer selling an engagement ring, for instance. So they don't necessarily have the time to go and look for stock for other customers, so it can be a little bit tricky.
Yeah, there's always that niches depending on what product you're actually selling and what category you're selling into.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the next big disruptor for online in Australia? Where are we heading?
Well, I think voice activation is really interesting for search. I was reading yesterday that by 2020, so only next year, around 50% of all search will be voice activated, which I find amazing. I don't personally use voice activation, but I know that my husband uses it constantly. My kids, who are only 5 and 9, will constantly ask.
Things like Siri or you've got
we've got a Google Play at home and your Amazon Echoes and all that kind of thing, and smartwatches and all of that. I think it'll be really interesting. I know that Officeworks have integrated that with their website so that you can ask Officeworks to add things to your cart, for instance. So I think if retailers
giving away the Google Play devices if you order a certain amount, so that you can start using that as a service.
Wow, well, that's great. And that's
because my wife got one. So.
Yeah, I think we got one free with a phone or something. I can't even remember how we got it, but it's quite handy.
Yeah, certainly it's an indicator in the US of where it's heading, and it's bound to happen here. It's just and that AI technology behind it is just getting smarter and smarter, and so much investment going into that space from the big players like Apple and Amazon and Google and Microsoft. So much investment going into that. So I think that voice experience is just going to get better and better quickly. So it'll be the way we shop. So interesting that you're starting to think about strategy for that. The volume's heading that way.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's interesting too, even across categories, if you look at, say, yelling out to your Alexa, order me an Uber, I'm going here.
Yep.
Or, you know, hey, I'm hungry, it's Sunday night, can you order me my favourite pizza? And it
Yep.
knows from, you know, previous orders exactly
That's right.
what you want.
Without washing powder.
Yeah, that next
Yeah.
level of
Yeah.
convenience.
Next day it's there. That's where we're heading.
Definitely.
I haven't actually personally ordered anything by voice, so I'm going to make sure it's my thing to do when I leave here. I'm going to head home and give it a try.
Yeah.
I know our managing director uses Siri all the time with all kinds of questions. We'll be like, what's the weather today? And, you know, he's speaking to Siri and getting that information. So it's interesting to see that uptake. It's interesting that you said that your kids are using it. So do you see them with their peers also using it? Are they gamifying that shopping experience? Do you think that's how, you know, once they're in that teenage years, that's how they'll be shopping?
I think so, yeah. I mean, the kids today will be so much more advanced than we were. But, like, for instance, this morning I wanted to know what the weather was, and I said to my son, do you know what the weather's going to be today? And he went, okay, Google, and he just asked Google. And then later on, my sister wanted to know how to say something in Chinese, so he just asked Google. I'm like, it's so crazy to me that they can just get the answer to anything in any given second.
There's nothing to lose,
Yeah, that's right. So I think it will become more advanced for kids as they get into those teenage years. There will definitely be more integration.
Yeah, very interesting. So interesting. So how do you think, as a retailer, what are you doing to ensure that you continue to see growth online and growth overall? And, you know, what do you think are the keys to success in the years to come?
I think conversion is essential. We get a lot of traffic to our website, which is great, and we're not even, you know, a huge website, so continually focusing on making sure that conversion is staying up high, and what can you change on your website. What was the other part of your question, sorry?
And just overall success. So obviously conversion's part of where you're tracking. And what else do you think is keys for success in the years to come?
So for us, it's looking at those marketplaces. Like I was saying to Grant earlier, I think we've got about 20% of our sales come through marketplaces. So we'll continue to get a lot of sales through our website and run promotions and so forth, but continually looking at different marketplaces and how to expand on the current marketplaces that we have. Like eBay is becoming really big for us, so working with eBay, working with ChannelAdvisor, and seeing what we can change to get more growth through there.
So when did you launch on eBay? When did you first launch on each marketplace?
So we launched on eBay, I think about 6 years ago. We're also on Catch. I would think about 18 months ago we started with Catch. Initially we were just doing it all ourselves, which we actually had pretty good success doing it that way. It was very manual, very time consuming, which is why we went over to ChannelAdvisor. And then through ChannelAdvisor we were able to expand. So we launched on Amazon when they first came out to Australia last year, and recently on MyDeal.
It's great to have that all centralised, and you can just push it out to that.
It's so much easier, yes.
So what do you think is the key to success on marketplaces, or what do you think that you're doing now that's enabling you to be successful?
Well, I think it's finding a partner that can help you get things on easier. We have a lot of different promotions and a lot of different rules and certain watches that we can't sell and so forth, so it can be very time consuming. So it's working with a partner that can understand all the different marketplaces and how each one is different, and, you know, shipping requirements and so forth. It's also about building relationships with those marketplaces directly. We get a lot of contact with Catch, which is great. And in those early days, you know, we go out to their office and sit with them and talk about it. They are always offering us different promotions. And I think if you have those close partnerships, then you get offered different things that other people might not. And we've tried out a few things that were new to the market for Catch that they let us test out, which was great. And also doing things like keeping track of your reputation, because on somewhere like Amazon, we don't sell a huge amount of products. So if we only sell 10 products and one of those is shipped late, then our reputation can drop quickly, because it looks like we've got a 10% late shipment, but really it's just one product and we're in close contact with the customer and they're aware of what's happening. But it is important to
your account health is so important on marketplaces. So do you have your customer service team got a strategy in place in terms of managing customer queries from marketplaces? That they routed before your website, or how do you manage that balance?
Not before, they're just as important because they're all customers. We use Zendesk, which I think using something like that is essential. If we don't have the time with our size of our customer service team to be on each different marketplaces and respond to customers direct. So it all comes through one central Zendesk, and it's one customer service team that respond to those people. Some of them are slightly different, like your My Deals, but it's so important to make sure that you're getting back to those customers quickly and keeping them updated if there's any kind of delays with their order and things like that.
Have you experimented with any services like Fulfillment by Amazon that look after that customer service piece for you?
We have. We tried FBA last year, I think it was. To be honest, it didn't work great for us. We found that the stock mostly just sat there. It worked fairly well for watches. We put a few watches through there, but the watches that sell really well on marketplaces are those limited editions. So we might only get 5 in. So if we send them to FBA and they don't sell, they're just wasted time, really, because we can sell them really quickly on our websites. But we have talked to Amazon about other products that we can buy in bulk and potentially send there. So it is something we might look at again.
Fantastic. And would you consider using multi-channel fulfillment? So to use like Fulfillment by Amazon to fulfill to other channels?
Not at the moment, no. Yeah, they've talked to us about that, but I don't think it's something we're looking at.
Yeah, I know that is an option if you do have products in an Amazon fulfillment center that aren't moving as quickly as you like. You can turn that on to fulfill your website orders, as sometimes it can be cheaper to push them to another channel than to try and pull them back out of that warehouse.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give any retailers or anyone who's thinking about selling on multiple marketplaces right now?
I would say do your research, find out which marketplaces work best for your industry. Definitely find a partner to help you out. It's not easy to do it yourself unless you have a very big team or a lot of money. I think those are definitely the most important things that we had talked about. It's understanding the different customers on the marketplaces as well. We change our strategy depending on which marketplace we're on. Like on a Catch, for instance, we previously tried to sell full price products. It just doesn't work. So we need to discount on Catch, and that works great, especially really heavy discounts. Like if we have a 50% off silver sale, that goes crazy for us.
Yeah, it's interesting understanding each marketplace's demographic. Like eBay is actually more male orientated. There's more male active consumers versus Catch, which is predominantly female.
Yeah.
And even understanding, what's the average order value in each category. And, eBay, Catch, and so on, they're happy to engage with you and help drive these strategic decisions based off their demographics. It's just making sure you're in touch with the right people.
Yeah. And when you're doing that research, you said you want to research your marketplaces. How do you find that information out?
I think it's talking directly to the marketplaces and finding out who they think their customers are, and it might change over time. And it can also just be trial. Just put different things on different marketplaces and see what's working for you. And really taking advantage of what naturally works well on its marketplace.
Trial and error is so important. Often some of my our partners and our customers, they say, oh, we're only going to list these products here. And I often say, why? I mean, I understand it's an assumption based on some recommendations, but we don't know what product's going to move where. You might be surprised. The eBay customer is very different to your website customer, different to your My Deal customer, different to your Catch customer. So, let's start with listing everything, and then we can, diving in and refine that strategy. And that's very much what we did with Bevilles. We worked out what worked, and but we let the data, we let the numbers drive our strategy, and we had that first 12 months where we were open and we were experimenting so we could work out what really was the best path forward.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's talk about digital marketing then. So let's talk about how you're driving traffic to your actual website. So tell us a bit about your overall digital marketing strategy.
So we put a lot of focus for digital marketing on, I would probably say, the 3 things. SEO is huge for us. We spend a fair bit, or not a fair bit, but a good amount on SEO, and we find we get probably about 60% of our traffic through SEO, so it's very important. We're continually working on that. Email is super important for us. They're our most loyal customer. Probably at least 50% of our sales come from our loyalty customer database. So we can see a lot of importance in email going forward. And then social, which is a bit of a change for Bevilles over the last few years. Previously, we used to put money into more traditional things like your radio or TV or so forth, and we're moving a lot of that away and putting it onto social, remarketing people who've already come to the website.
Interesting. So when you say, tell me more about your loyalty program and how you're segmenting your email database to ensure success when you're sending out these type of campaigns?
Yeah, so our email database is only our loyalty customers. You
Okay.
can't sign up for email if you're not a loyalty. So we get, it's at least 60 to 80% sign up in store to our loyalty database when somebody purchases. So it's a very high sign up. And we try to integrate that with our website. So if you purchase something in store, you earn points when you join our loyalty database. You also get a extended warranty. But when you come to the website and you log in, it already remembers everything that you've purchased. It knows your name, knows your address, and so forth. And if you've earned points in the store, you can go online and you can use those points to actually pay for your purchase or a portion of your purchase. So it's very valuable for us.
And so when you, do you send one email out to your entire loyalty database, or do you segment based on, okay, she's buying rings, you know, he's buying a ring for her, she's buying, you know, baby bracelets, or, you know, she's always buying a watch every 12 months. So let's segment, you know, a campaign specific to that seller, or you are not quite sophisticated?
No, we do have quite a sophisticated system. We know what they buy, and we do segment by type of customer. We mostly segment by spend. So we'll generally send, when we send out an email a few times a week, we'll send 2 versions, and one will be, you know, probably your high-priced diamonds with high-priced products. And then the other one might be lower price silver products. So we have very different customers. You know, people can be buying a $5,000 ring and a $30 silver product. So we have to really look at those customers quite differently. We don't send we don't segment so much by gender. We know that most of our customers are women, but that we have a lot of male customers as well. So we don't talk as if it's a woman looking at the email. It's just generic.
Very nice. And what platform are you using to send your EDMs?
We use Cheetah Digital. They used to be Experian.
Yeah. Very nice. And tell me more about then social. So you said Facebook. Is that where predominantly where you're advertising on social? Are you doing anything with Snapchat or, you know, Instagram, as we touched on before? Was there anything more along those lines? Or
we don't use Snapchat. We pretty much just use Facebook and Instagram. Instagram is much more inspirational or aspirational. So we have, you know, your beautiful diamond images, you know, specials and so forth. So it's about wanting people to love the jewellery really for Instagram. And we do get customers coming to our website via Instagram, but it's mostly just about engaging with our customers. Whereas Facebook is very much transactional, so it's all about, we've got sales happening, you know, this is the great new product, you can get this amazing ring for $1.99 or whatever it may be. So it's a very different market. So we spend most of our money through Facebook targeting, very targeting, especially because we only have stores in 3 states. In South Australia, we only have 1 store, so we can get really close to where those particular stores are.
Is there plans to open more stores in the future?
Yes, definitely. We're about to open a store in Frankston next month, actually, and we've got another one opening later in the year. But, yeah, we're continually growing the market.
So do you see variations between, obviously, where you have stores and sales in each state? Is there any, you know, outliers in terms of there's no store there, but, you know, certain categories perform really well? Or you still have random moments?
I mean, we definitely get most of our sales through Melbourne and Sydney, or Victoria and New South Wales, but then we have a lot of sales in WA and Queensland. So people, you know, will find out about our brand through social and through our website and SEO. We have really good presence on SEO or through Google. So I don't think there's a great difference between what they're buying depending on where they live, but we get customers from all over Australia.
Yeah. And how are you managing all these feeds that you're sending to these digital marketing channels? So if we're talking, you know, Google Shopping and Bing Shopping, how are you managing getting all the product data into each channel and then successfully manipulating that for return on that channel?
Well, we have feeds direct from our point of sale to Magento through our website, but then for marketplaces we use ChannelAdvisor to segment the products and go out to different marketplaces, different products.
What about for digital marketing? Are you using the feed for that? Or?
We don't currently use a feed now. It's all very manual.
Okay. And is there a resource in-house who's dedicated solely to managing those campaigns, or do you partner with an agency for success?
We do both. We have an in-house person who looks after social, though she also looks after email and a number of other things, so she's quite busy. But then we use a social agency as well. We actually, at the moment, we're using 2 different social agencies, one for Instagram for the photo shoots that we do and all the beautiful imagery and talking to the customers over there, and then we use a different agency for that real advertising side on Facebook.
Yeah. Have you got any advice for someone who's considering, is considering changing or developing or listing their products on any of these new digital marketing channels? Any advice to someone who's new to this market?
I think it is a good idea to work with an agency to help, because it can be quite complicated, and things like Google Shopping, it's not super easy to do that yourself. So it's good to get an expert to do that for you. As far as advertising on social, it works great for us, and it's a real growth stream. So I think just give it a try, really. Just put a few different ads up and work with your own targeting. You don't need an expert to advertise on Facebook. You can do it yourself, and we do a lot of it ourselves. But if you have a lot of money or a decent amount of money, you're better off working with an expert that knows what they're doing. Yeah,
and if you work with a partner or an agency, you can hold them accountable to ROI metrics.
That's right, yeah.
I guess with that, it all becomes about understanding exactly what success looks like for your business, understanding exactly what your business goals are, granular to each channel. On Instagram, it's branding, it's about, aspiration, it's about interaction versus actual conversion and so on.
Yeah.
So you touched before on traditional advertising. So where are you still investing in any traditional advertising? Are you still sending out catalogues? Are you still, running TVCs?
We're definitely investing in catalogues. That won't change. We get a lot of our customers through catalogues. We do, I think it's 6 catalogues a year, so not a massive amount. But at times like Mother's Day and Christmas, that's huge for us. And we have a pretty wide database that we go out to. So not database, a number of households that we go out to with catalogues. So I don't see that changing anytime soon. Other than that, we don't do a lot of traditional advertising. We do sometimes do radio, but it's a bit scattergun. You're just kind of putting something out there. You don't know if someone's going to hear it or not. Whereas on social or other channels, you can be quite direct and targeted.
Do you find there's a direct correlation between, if there's a catalogue drop, do you see those products specifically like spikes in sales on the back of that?
Definitely, yeah. And if a product's not in our catalogue, it doesn't sell as well. So we know that customers do take those physical catalogues. And I know that our CEO said previously, she goes into stores and she sees people with their circled catalogues and she's like, I want this one. So we do have quite a traditional customer in that aspect.
Yeah, I think if I look at my mum, she still loves shopping through catalogues.
Yeah.
And actually, it's really funny. My nana now lives in a retirement village, so they don't get any catalogues. So my mum saves all the catalogues to take them to her. So there's still that market where catalogues are.
Yeah, I still love catalogues.
Yeah. So I guess, Grant, is there any questions from our audience? For Rachel,
we've got a couple. Well, I just want to remind people to ask questions. Look, I found this tremendously insightful so far, and I know we're getting near the end, but Rachel's been very forthcoming with what's happening in the Bevilles business and provided some really good insights. So yeah, everyone watching, now's your chance to get on board and get those questions in. For me, a few things that I found pretty interesting. So one of the things when Alana was asking what you're looking at in terms of growth, you mentioned conversion as being a potential growth opportunity. So to me, I was thinking about that probably for the last 5 minutes, thinking, does that mean, okay, so you see a gap from where you are now to where you could be? Is that fair to say? And then, what does that mean in conversion? Is that the digital marketing component or everything to do with conversion? And I guess what are you doing then to bridge that gap, and what would that look like when you say we're there?
Yeah, well, like I was saying, we get a lot of traffic to our website, and our average order is not bad. It's actually fairly decent, but we find that conversion is not huge, and it can definitely be a lot more. It's probably doubled in the last 12 months since we've really been focusing on it. So we've had.
Does that translate to a doubling of revenue?
It does, which is great because we're getting the same amount of traffic, and that's converting at a much higher rate. And depending on which channel they're coming from, conversion.
You take full credit for that.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, well, we've worked with an agency as well who've done a great job helping us with that. But yeah, I think focusing on conversion going forward it's a no-brainer, really.
That's right.
It's the same as average order.
It doesn't come up that often. I mean, people obviously do obsess about conversion, but it doesn't come up often as, okay, conversion is our growth strategy and improving conversion.
Okay, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's quite interesting that you see there's still a fair bit of gap there to grow just through optimizing conversion.
I think there's a lot of, I don't know if it's a misunderstanding, but you need more and more traffic to your website. But if you've already got a decent amount of traffic, if you just get those already interested customers to convert, it's much easier.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I know I spoke at I spoke at a Magento panel at the start of the year, and part of the theme in that panel was, okay, we've all got mobile optimized sites. That was so 2 years ago. Yeah. What are we actually doing to convert that traffic now? Yeah. So there's traffic on mobile. How often are you just being your customer and checking out on your mobile? How often are you, resetting? I forgot my password. How quickly is that email coming to allow you to check out? Those basic things to make sure the conversion on all devices is increasing.
Yeah, and we do that continuously. Like if sales are ever down, like if we have an hour or two without a sale, we're like, okay, everybody jump on their mobile, jump on the desktop. What's not working, and it's going through that funnel and figuring out if anything's happening. Most of the time, it just means that they just got shopping for an hour. But sometimes you might pick up an error that you check out that you hadn't have noticed, and you probably wouldn't have noticed for a few hours, and you've lost all those sales if you haven't fixed that one issue. So.
Yeah, it's amazing the impact you can have, and a 5% conversion rate, sort of high fives all around quite often, but that's still a 95% failure rate. So there's still a lot of room for improvement.
That's right. Yeah.
Another question that's come through. So with using the marketplaces, have you found that your demographic has changed of customer as you've launched the different channels? You mentioned the MyDeal customer earlier being quite a bit different to even some of the other marketplaces. So, but more broadly, has it changed who comes through to shopping at Bevilles now?
It's hard to say because we don't find out that much about the customer. We're not really given access to the customer. It's simply what they've purchased. Yep. We know their gender, we know their location. Yep. But I think when I was talking about that earlier, I meant more about what kind of product that they're buying that's different.
Yes.
With something like a MyDeal or a Catch, I think it very much is taking advantage of what's on sale. Like when we launched with MyDeal, we had a few good sales the first week, and then we didn't have any sales for 2 weeks. And I kind of went, oh, that's a bit of a worry. But when you go to the MyDeal website, because jewelry is very new for them, it's quite hard to find. Right. So in the last week, we've partnered with them, and we're doing a promotion through email and through a website banner and through social. And now we're seeing the sales coming in.
Yeah,
just have to put it in front of the people.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And with marketplaces, you talked about Catch and so forth, so where it's hard to put premium or full price product up there, you really have to do a sale. Is that a broad observation about marketplaces in general, where you've got your store, you can hold a price within your store, but each time you go out to one of the marketplaces, you're going to have to do discounting? Or?
So we don't do different prices for the store and for marketplaces. Yep. So we tried that initially, and then we found it a little bit confusing for the customer if they went to Catch and the price was different. So instead, we just push products that are on sale. At any given time, there's always plenty of products that are on sale in our store. Even if we're not having a big sale, there'll be clearance products and so forth. Yep. But yeah, I maybe Catch do sell things full price, but I observe when I go to the Catch website, it's those big flashy sales that seem to really get noticed. Whereas something like an eBay, we sell plenty of full price products on eBay because I think customers are interested in the product and maybe they haven't got it at different retailers, so they'll come to us. They're just looking around for that particular product. So it's different.
Okay. And with basically with going out on those marketplaces, are you finding that you're obviously using ChannelAdvisor, are you finding that you're doing different product suites for each of those marketplaces, like distinctly different categories and things like that are working, or are you mostly sticking with the same plan across all the marketplaces?
I mean, it's different. Catch, we only put sale products, so therefore it reduces greatly what we have at any given time unless we have a big sale. We don't list rings on Catch. It's quite hard because of the ring size issue. Whereas on eBay and Amazon, we pretty much list our full suite, so anything that we have on there. And MyDeal, I actually forget, but I think we're just doing sale products as well because that works so well on the MyDeal customer. So yeah, it really just, it's more a price thing than actual product. We don't, apart from Amazon, which they don't actually like us to list certain watches because they sell those watches themselves. So Catch have a few of those as well. But other than that, we don't restrict what brands or anything we put on.
And when you were talking about digital marketing and your channel mix, when it comes to digital marketing, I think you said 60% is from SEO or 60% organic. I'm assuming that means,
Yes,
and talked about email and social, and you've obviously talked a lot about marketplaces. Is traditional PPC AdWords and stuff still a part of the marketing mix, or are you finding other channels are more?
We don't do PPC anymore. We have tried it in the past, and we just found the return really wasn't worth the spend that you have to put on in order to really get noticed. So we took the money away from PPC and put it towards organic, because we have a much better return for that.
And how does doing well in organic look from a Bevilles perspective? Improving product descriptions, or lots of content, or blogging, or how are you getting that?
We do all of that, yeah. We work with an agency, so we have regular blogs that go up on our website. We regularly change the descriptions, or not change them, but we review descriptions on our products. We're making sure we don't have duplicate descriptions or duplicate headings. Then they're looking at all the back end, so backlinks to our website. And
structured data and all of that.
Yeah. So I wouldn't even know what they do every day, but it's a lot of work. It does great.
Okay. Again, if we have any further questions from the audience, we'll start to field those. We've got a few minutes left. So just broadly speaking, then, you mentioned voice earlier, but what's the biggest trend, I suppose, immediately on the radar for Bevilles in the year ahead?
Interesting question. I think social is not really a trend, but I think that's going to be a big focus for us.
Yeah, I sat in on a social panel last week, actually, at a networking event in Melbourne, and there was lots of talk around, particularly around video as well, Instagram, TV versus
Was
YouTube.
it the shop talk event?
Oh, were you there?
Oh, was that? Yeah, it was a good event.
Sure. Okay, so you sort of learned a bit from that. Yeah, it was quite enlightening in terms of the focus on social. And what about, some of the stuff that was being talked about there was, organic versus paid. Obviously, the social networks want you to spend more and more and more, so they're reducing the effectiveness of organic. But are you mixing it up, and are you doing any of the video stuff as well?
We do some video, and we do find that when we do that on Instagram, it works really well for us. But we were just talking the other day actually about doing more, just those short little videos, and the IGTV. When I was at the shop talk event, I was kind of surprised with how well that is doing for some of the retailers. So I think that's definitely something that we'll look at. We don't do a whole lot of video on Facebook, because we find that just those ads or scrolling and links and so forth work really well for us. But
very good. Well, look, I think we're just about out of time, but if anyone has any follow-up questions, you can certainly reach out through the registration link. But look, I just want to really thank Alana and Rachael today for a really insightful panel, and particularly you, Rachael, for sharing a lot of insights about Bevilles. I hope you're allowed to do that. But really exciting and insightful, and great questions from you, Alana. So it was good to listen in on that, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. There's a video that will be made available shortly, and we'll be getting in touch with everyone very soon, and you'll get to take a look at this great content. So thanks very much for joining, everyone.
Thanks.
Enjoy the rest of your day. And I have to awkwardly turn this off now.
When should I?
Close the webinar button.